How you doing, everyone? It's Kevin. I'm back with another video. Getting ready to start on this diamond plate for the front of the box trailer. We still have a good bit of work to do to this thing before we can get it back on the road and get it going, but I think it's coming along really good for a $500 box trailer. I think we did really well. And by looking at the comments, you guys think we did pretty good too. So I'm going to get this straightened out. We're going to get it mounted back on the front and see if we can get this thing back on the road. Okay, now for around the front of this, I'm going to put a bead of silicone. This is 100% silicone around this top and down the sides, just so water can't get in from the top and go down. And of course, each one of these screw holes, I'm a little bit worried about them getting water in it because they're not sealed. So we're going to go ahead and put us a little bead along here. Hopefully this will seal everything up nice and tight. I'm going to go right around. We can see where it was on there before. Just do us a nice little bead of silicone along there. And we'll hit these holes here too, where them other screws go in there. We're going to be using them stainless steel screws that we had picked up. Hopefully we can do this without making too much of a mess. So we're just using the original holes that were already in the diamond plate. Nice thing is when I'm screwing these in, a little bit of silicone is coming out around them, so we know they're going to be sealed up. Okay, we just got our fender reattached. 3 screws in the whole entire, actually 4 screws in the whole entire fender holding it together. Not good. I think we have 9 in there now. It's good and sturdy on there. It's not going anywhere. But someone did mention to re-grease these bearings, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to get some grease in these to make sure we don't have any issues with this axle when we get it out and get it on the road and get it going. Definitely easier to grease it now than to wait. Alright, so that should be good. It's starting to come out. I think that's going to be pretty good for this. So we're going to do the same thing with the other side. I'm going to pull the wheel off, reattach the fender over there, and grease the axle the same way I did this one. And we're getting pretty much done. We got both them corners sealed up. We got them both reattached. Both corners where the metal had come out. We're doing pretty good here. We're doing actually really good. Alright, we got both fenders reattached. There was very little screws in there. There's 3 screws in each fender. Each one of them have about 6 or 8 now in them. We got the axles greased on it. So we got those 2 done. The door was sagging really bad, so we're going to do a little bit of work to this door and get it up back where it should be. I think we can work on that and get it into... Okay, Julie and I worked in here pretty late last night. She's going to do the painting in here, but I needed to put some of these strips that had fell down. I need to get them back up. So the old strips, some of them were missing. So we just got some old Luan that we had taken out of the old box trailer camper, and we're going to be using them on the walls here. We had to go pick up some staples, silicone. Man, there's so much little stuff that you need for this, and we went and picked it up last night. So we're going to go ahead and start putting our wood back on this wall. And we're just going to be using the staple gun. I think it's going to work out pretty good for us. I really like using the staples. They seem to hold the wood on a lot better. And I'm sure we'll put more staples in it than they did. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. And we're going to restaple all the rest of the wood because it's coming off. Alright, so we have a big old hole here that just looks bad, so I'm going to patch it with a piece of this Luan. And what we're going to do is we're just going to put some liquid nail on this thing around that hole. We're going to set it up there about where it'll cover everything, and then we're going to give it a nail, a staple. And I think that's going to work pretty good. Hopefully our staples ain't going through the outside. Just want to make sure. Alright, no more hole. Okay, this is our side door that was on the side of the cargo trailer. Now, these holes to me look like they're kind of wallered out. They were able to get loose and, made the bolts loose on here, and that door's starting to sag. So I thought we'd take a couple old pieces of this Luan, and we're going to put it right over top of these holes, and then we'll pre-drill them the size they need to be, and then throw a couple washers on them, and hopefully we can tighten this door up so it doesn't sag so much on that side. But we're also going to slot the hinges so we can pick the door up. It needs to go up a little bit. and we're going to try to do that. So we're just going to do this the same way we did this back door. Is we're going to put some liquid nail water, staple her into place, and hope for the best. We're going to do that to both hinges, this one here and that one down there. Now we'll let them set up until tomorrow, and all that liquid nail should be good and hard, and hopefully it'll hold better than the staples. To move these hinges just a little bit, I'm using a rat tail file here and moving it down. I think I can gain 1/4 of an inch at least. That's a pretty good slot in there. So we're gonna gain a good bit there. I mean, every little bit helps on that door. Okay, we changed the bolts out on this. It had them, I think they're called safety bolts. See what they look like right there? I changed them out and put regular bolts in it because I can get nuts on the back side now. I drilled some holes back there so I can get nuts on them. And that way if somebody tries to unscrew my door, that nut's going to turn forever. So that's what we're going to do. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and get this thing started on here. And then it's kind of a little tricky back here. I have to put the nut and the washer on, the lock washer, as I'm screwing it in. Little tricky getting these guys on here. You don't have a whole lot of room in there. I just drilled maybe 1 1/4 inch hole, and I can just get my fingers in there. Once I get it started, I need to push that hinge up as far as it'll go. Give it a little snug. Go ahead and start my other bolt. We're hoping that this will help us just a little bit more on that door to keep it kind of straight, because it was sagging. So we got to do the same thing with this one. Is we got to screw it in, put the washer and the nut on while I'm screwing it out here, because this kind of got threads on the inside, but not very good. It's just going through that piece of angle through there, and I wanted something a little bit better, and I think I got it now, because now I'm able to put a nut and a lock washer on that back side. All right, we got both the hinges back on. That's pretty tight. Now we're just going to hope that these guys all line up with the door. Okay, for extra support in here, when we build our row of shelves in the front, I got this board all liquid nailed down in there and siliconed in there. We're going to screw that in the front. We're going to build our bottom shelf, and that's going to help hold our sides in, and it's going to help just keep this together up here. So we'll be screwing down through the floor, and then we'll be toe nailing into that wall. So that way it'll hold that wall into place. That's going to help hold that wall from moving Hopefully. Whatever you do, you don't want to get too long of screws where you go all the way outside. We have one of these boards cut here, if I get it out. This is what this will look like. It's just basically adding another floor on top of this floor, and that's going to be the size shelf that we put in there. And then we're going to go so high. The next shelf I think will be about 30 inches. And then we might do 2 or 3 shelves in here. But this is going to be able to tie into that side over there, and also the front, you know, to keep it from coming back off, which I think works pretty good. Now what I've been using here is trying to use up all the scraps that are around the garage. You can see this is not even a full 2x4. It's a piece of scrap. We'll put a couple more little braces in there on that floor, and this one will be finished. All we have to do is cut the plywood. We use this as a template for every one of the shelves. So what we're doing is we're liquid nailing all this down, and I'm using a staple because these staples, man, they hold so good. They're really good. I love using these staples. Now, they hold a lot better than a brad nail. So if you're gonna put something like this down and you need it to stay, you're better off using a staple than you are a brad nail. And like I said, I'm just using all scrap wood. Everything I'm using here is scrap. Just been laying around. That liquid nail really does a good job, because actually after that liquid nail dries on there, you don't even need them staples. This thing will be solid. Now that thing's not going to go anywhere. That's pretty tight in there. It's been screwed, liquid nailed. I mean, that's a good shelf. We tied it into the wall. All we got to do is get some caulk and go around that seam over there, because my cuts are not perfect. I'm not a carpenter, but that's what we're using, the staple gun and liquid nail and screws to put that shelf in. And I think this is going to help hold that whole front end together. So we're going to get on our second shelf. And I'm going to make it about 30 to 32 inches high, and probably a little sturdier, a little nicer than what this. All right, yesterday we got a good bit done. We did get our shelves. We finished building our 2 shelves in the front, and got them tied in there really tight to the sides, the wall and that front and the floor. And that's going to help this box trailer forever coming loose again in that front. It's not going to do that, I promise you. So I got that in there nice and tight. We liquid nailed everything in there. We siliconed everything, cleaned everything. It's set in there good. Now, we did get a little bit of painting done yesterday. We got basically a base coat put on the walls. We were trying out a new product for a company. It was a spray gun. And so Julie's going to come back. She's going to do a roller on those walls. Now, those were bare paint. Those were bare plywood walls, so they did suck up a lot of paint. But we got those covered, and we did get the paint for the floor. So we're going to be getting probably all the painting done on the inside and the floor today. And then I wanted to show you something else we done. Now I worked on this piece here. If you remember, that piece of metal was hanging right there. We took it off. It was just a trim. And I picked this piece up at Lowe's. This is like 1.5 inches by, I don't know, maybe a 1/16 inch aluminum. And it had just a few screws in it going across, and every one of them was missing. Well, look at it now. I got a screw. I mean, tons of screws in there. And I think it turned out really nice compared to what it looked like in the beginning. It definitely looks a lot better. So that made the front end look a whole lot better. So all I got to do is get the shop warmed up. It takes me probably about an hour, maybe a little bit longer, maybe an hour and a half to get this shop up to about 70 degrees. We'll warm it up. Julie gets out here. Hopefully we can get most of this done. Now we still want to do the rubber roofing on the top, that white latex roofing. We want to do that roof with that. I did power wash everything and clean that roof, so it shouldn't be too bad. Maybe rub it down with some thinner, and we'll get that coated. Other than that, there's not a whole lot more to do. I guess today I do have to do some caulking. I bought some white silicone caulk that we're going to go around the fenders and whatever might need some white, and then also got some clear to go around all the diamond plate in the front and the new bracket that we put around that front. We're going to do some clear on it. Now I also got 2 holes up in the front, just where that makes that bend. They left 2 little holes up under each corner, and I really can't get to them that good. So what I got is I got some foam spray. I'm going to take that foam spray and go up in each one of them corners and fill them corners in. And then when we paint underneath the floor, we'll paint right over top of that foam spray, and hopefully that'll help hold out any kind of water from getting up in this floor, because there's 2 little spots in them corners. If you have that rounded front end, because when we had that one corner loose, I could see right down through the floor. So we're going to take care of that with some foam spray. And then, like I said, we're going to paint underneath of that floor also. That's something I'd like to do. There's no rot in this box trailer at all. It was just beat up. So, yeah. There's a few more things I can get done today, and then Julie's going to get that painting done. We'll be almost done with it. So, it's basically just warm up the garage now. Okay, I'm going to start sealing up around these fenders because there's no rubber between this and the wall. So we're just going to seal it up with some good silicone, and this is white silicone. So we're going to go ahead and fill that crack up. Maybe. This is a tight bottle of silicone. So we'll just work our way right down around this guy. This is going to keep water from running down inside there. And we did this on our other box trailer too, and it worked really well. No issues so far. Seals that crack right up nice and tight. And we'll work our way right around the other side. Doing the same thing. Hopefully we can get back in here a little bit. Okay, we'll do both the fenders just like that, seal them up nice and tight, and we'll be watertight on those. Anywhere I know where there's a little crack that needs a little bit of this, we're going to put it, because we want to keep as much water out of this thing as we possibly can. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a clear silicone, and we're going to go all the way around this diamond plate so water don't get down in behind there, and then we're going to do our little plate down there. So we're just going to work our way all the way around it, starting with the top. This is going to keep any water from getting down in behind there like there was when we took it off. And we knew it was getting in there because it was all dirty. So we're just going to seal it up. Nice little bead. I do have a bead underneath of the top of this. So then we're going to do this bead around the outside edge. Now the little plate that we had put on the bottom here, we're going to do it also. That's all sealed up, no water could get down through that, so we're in good shape. The only thing I'd like to do is I'd like to go up under this front and paint that whole edge along there because it is all wood. Alright, so now I got some of this great stuff for windows, and we're going to be using it in these corners where that metal is rounded off and there's kind of a gap in here. So we're going to try to get this stuff to spray up in here and fill it up because we don't want no leaks. Okay, I got that corner tight. I think that looks pretty good. We'll work our way over there and get that one over there done the same way. You know, these holes, these gaps in here were probably in there when it was bought new, I'm sure. They just don't seal them up like they should. I hear you, Sophie. Alright, we have both sides done, and I think they look pretty good. It's actually starting to drip a little bit over there. So once it dries up, we'll cut that off, and then we'll put a little bit of paint on it, and that should seal that up pretty good actually. All right, Julie's out here now. She's going to give it a good coat of a bright white paint. This on the walls was just a base coat so we can get it to soak into some of that plywood. We want it as bright as we can get it in here because, well, it just...
There's no lights.
Yeah, there's not really a lot of lights. There's not even in this thing, there's not even a skylight. There's not a vent or anything in here. Maybe one day we might put a vent in this thing. So she's just going to give it a good coat of white, and then we're going to start on the floor. All right, we went and picked up some paint here. This is made by Rust-Oleum, and it's a gray and it's flat, and we're just going to use that on the floor and on the benches in there, and Julie's in there taking care of that right now. All right, we're putting a layer of this sealer on the roof. I think it's a latex. It's almost like a rubber, but it's like almost like a latex glove. I'll leave a link in the description down below. I think it's Henry's or something like that. Harrison or Henry's. We'll leave a link in the description for it so you guys know what it is. I use this on my box trailer camper, and we're going to use it on here because it works great. Kind of puts a little kind of a latex membrane on your roof and seals it up really good. So we're going to probably put, I don't know, 4 or 5 coats on this, maybe even more, because these coats are super thin. We're doing them as thin as we possibly can, so it'll dry faster and seal better. I'm rubbing that roof down with a thinner, just a little bit of thinner on a rag, cleaning it up. We already power washed it once, but I think this is going to be nice. This is going to hold a lot of heat out and keep that roof from rusting up. All right, the cargo trailer is finally finished. We have all the painting done. We put some really nice E-tracks on the walls, and I had a spare extra piece up there that I can just set my extra clamps and stuff that go in them, the attachments. And then we have one over in this side over here, and it has a strap on it, a ratchet strap. It's an E-track strap, which is really nice for strapping refrigerators or different things like that. We did put a little basket up in the front up there, and that's for our ratchet straps, the small ratchet straps that we might want to tie in on the floor. And also I put in the floor, I put in all 4 corners, we put nice little tie downs in there. We built the 2 shelves in the front, which is going to, like I said 150,000 times, it's going to hold that front end together really nice for us. But I think Julie did a great job on all the paint. I think she did a really great job on that. We also got 4 coats of the rubber, the Henry sealer on the roof. We got 4 coats on that. And I think we did a really good job on the front end, finishing that front end up. Because it was really bad. If you guys remember, when we first started, that whole corner I'd lifted off the ground or off the trailer. Little scary, you know, a little sketchy. If it wasn't for that little bracket they had put in there to begin with, that whole front end would have just fell off onto the ground. But I think we did a pretty good job on this. Now the total cost after buying the trailer, which it was $500, I had about $220 in just little stuff that I had put into it. So you figure we got about $720 in the trailer finished, and I think it really looks nice. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. That's it. So I would like to tell everyone thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or a comment if you'd like. Till next time.